All right, well, let's get right to another special guest tonight. We welcome back to the Kudlow Report Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell. He's also chairman of the Republican Governors Association, and he spent the day campaigning with Mitt Romney. Governor, as always, welcome back. Let me ask you something. I guess you've been with Romney for about a day. Is he talking about the economy? Is he connecting with high-anxiety voters about the economy?
Absolutely. That's the top issue and the top priority for our country and for this campaign. He's focusing on jobs and economic recovery and the development of our energy resources, getting us out of debt. I mean, this is the heart and soul of what this campaign's about because of what America needs. The issue and the focus today, though, was on why for the last couple of years President Obama spends so much of his time on Obamacare and creating this huge unfunded mandate for states and for individuals when he should have been focused on job creation and economic development. As a result of that failure in leadership, Larry, we got an 8% unemployment rate now for 40 months. We need a new president. All
right. Well, I get that message. We've spent the better part of the show on that. I may come back to it. But I just want to ask you, Governor, you know, I always think of you as a good message guy. You say it crisply. You say it quickly. People can understand what you're talking about. One of the criticisms of Mitt Romney is that he has a 59-point plan, but he doesn't have a 3 or 4-point plan that actually connects with high-anxiety voters. Does he have a 3 or 4-point plan? In other words, besides Obamacare, what did he talk about today on the campaign trail?
Well, sure, you got to get rid of all these unbelievable bureaucratic mandates from the EPA and Obamacare and some of these other things that are stifling entrepreneurship. But he says here, you got to be positive and confident about business, creating the attitude for business development. Secondly, you got to have the right tax and regulatory policies. Thirdly, you got to be able to have the kind of workforce training and education system that encourages people to want to come to America and invest here in America. And fourth, you got to have people that understand how to create jobs. We don't have that in the White House. I mean, this is a president, right? I mean, this is a candidate, Mitt Romney, that's created over 100,000 jobs in the private sector, went from 50th to 30th as governor of Massachusetts. Well, he gets the American dream. He can talk about it, and he'll inspire people to grow.
Let me go to the Romney job creation story. As you know from the Washington Post down there, and of course the New York Times again today, Team Obama is calling him the outsourcer in chief. They're saying that while he was running Bain Capital, he were invested in these companies that shifted jobs overseas and therefore hurt American jobs and created unemployment. Now, whatever the details of that discussion is, I'm interested in what Mr. Romney said in response to being called the outsourcer in chief.
Well, if I had an abysmal record like Barack Obama when it came to job creation, I certainly wouldn't be criticizing anybody else about their jobs record. We have lost so much in people in certainty and predictability in the regulatory and tax climate in America, and that's why we're recovering so slowly. This is unacceptable at 8%. Look, they're picking on everything they can because they have a horrible record on job creation. It's the blame game that we see out of Washington and of this administration on a host of issues.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a distraction, but it's an important distraction. And actually, Team Obama is polling rather well on this business. Does Mr. Romney have a response to the outsourcer-in-chief charge? There's a lot of responses I can see. But today, did you hear him respond at all to that charge?
No, because he's not going to respond to every lame excuse that President Obama gives for why the economy's not doing well. What he is talking about, though, is turning around the Salt Lake City Olympics, creating hundreds of thousands of jobs when he was in the private sector, doing a great job. We're going from 50th to 30th as governor of Massachusetts, and mainly, Larry, talking about specific policies, reducing the tax burden and the regulatory burden on entrepreneurs, getting the EPA and other regulators off the back of the energy industries, which is killing us here in Virginia, this assault on coal and natural gas and nuclear. So he's talking about his positive vision, and he's not going to respond to every little attack that the Obama people come up with because they can't run on their failed record of leadership.
Well, all right. You talk about the EPA. EPA's in the news today also. Federal court has now given the EPA the go-ahead. They can regulate greenhouse gases. They can regulate carbon. That means they're going to regulate the heck out of your coal industry in Virginia. What are you going to do about that, Governor McDonnell? That seems like a big problem. You mentioned EPA. Let's go there. All of a sudden, the EPA's in the driver's seat.
Well, this is the most out-of-control federal agency that we have right now. Listen, we need to have a good balance between protecting the environment and getting people back to work. But these policies are so unbalanced. Heck, we're calling it the Employment Prevention Agency in Virginia because so many of their policies on coal, on nuclear, on natural gas, on the use of one's private property, on riparian rights, and on and on and on, are so stacked against the job creator and the entrepreneur at a time we've got 8%. It's no wonder, Larry, that we're not recovering any faster. So that case isn't over, by the way. I think that was a D.C. Circuit Court opinion. Hopefully people will look at whether or not there's another step to take. But this is yet another example of an overburdensome federal government that now at least has got a couple of favorable opinions from the courts that is just crushing and stifling the ability to recover in this country.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Many thanks, Virginia Republican Governor Bob McDonnell. We appreciate it, sir. All best on the campaign trail.
Okay, Larry.